Oh,
Please go ahead with the cases.
yeah, once I just wanted to, push this, ILO and OECD related, the guidelines. Um, First, I'll start with the ILO. It's an agency, it's a specialized agency under the United Nations dedicated for promoting social justice, human rights, and labor rights. It was founded in 1990, headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. See, the working model of ILO is basically it's a tripartite between government, employers, and workers. Currently, it has got about 187 members, countries in its fold, and it sets the labor standards, develop policies, devise programs for promoting, a work for all the women and the men, and their strategic objectives. There are about four things that has been, highlighted there, which is set and promote standards for fundamental rights at work, create greater opportunities for women and men, decent employment and income, enhance the coverage and effectiveness of social protection for all, strengthen tripartism and social dialogue. And they also had an agenda, of 2030 for the sustainable development, and basically, embraces three things. One is of economical, social, and environmental sustainability, and talks of about 17 sustainable goals that they have. They always prefer to put the people and planet at the center stage, and that's how they looked at it. There are two things which was highlighted as the out of that 17 goals, there are two things they have highlighted. One is about the eighth goal, which is of to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. One of the things that they always say that everyone should have their own work, and also it should take care of their own living, the pay, living wage, or whatever you can say. And the goal 5, it talks of gender equality and empower all women and girls. And the labor rates, figures are like, the participation rate is about 60.8%, and the employment rate is about 5.1%. The working poverty is about 6.4%, still there. These statistics are actually for their development evaluation of policies towards their goal, and for assessing progress towards the decent work culture. And basically, the standards, what they said is for, it's a legal instrument drawn by the ILO constituents, which is essentially government, employers, and workers, and setting out basic principle and rights at work. They always talk about, when any of the employees works, their basic principle is the right to work actually. So therefore, they reduce the unemployment side of it. So either it comes out with the conventions and protocols which are legally binding international treaties that may be ratified by its members, or recommendations which serves as a non-binding guidelines. And there are 8 fundamental conventions of ILO, which is in 2023. Freedom of association, protection of rights to organize. The second one is right to organize and collective bargaining. The third one is forced labor. Fourth is abolition of forced labor, minimum age, worst form of child labor, equal remuneration, and discrimination. These are the 8 fundamental, conventions they had it. That's as far as the ILO is concerned, the highlights. And as far as the OECD, which is Organization for Economical Cooperation and Development, they've set as guidelines basically for the multinational enterprises. It's a comprehensive set of government-backed recommendations on responsible business conduct, which means what they say is that any multinational enterprise should operate with this responsibly in the business operations. The government, adhering to the guidelines, aims to encourage and maximize positive impact on MNCs can make to the sustainable development and enduring social progress. It also helps institutional investors to do the due diligence in order to prevent or address an adverse impact related to human or labor rights, the environment, and corruption in their investment portfolios, which is referred in OECD 2017. It requires governments and investors to adopt double materiality approach and take both positive and negative, which is social return on investment, into account. These are the guidelines that has been set, and it provides a voluntary principle and standards for responsible business conduct in the following areas: employment and industrial relations, human rights, environment, information disclosure, combating bribery, consumer interest, science and technology, competition, and taxation, and so on. Uh, in the OECD, one of the country which is already gone for it is about Netherlands, where the government, NGOs, and institutional investors have signed a responsible investment agreement in which investors agree to adopt double materiality approach by following the OECD guidelines. Also take the responsibility to try and mitigate the negative impact of their investments, which is reported in the International RBC and ACR 2021. These are the highlights in OECD, and that's about it. Thanks. And Vivekji, one small clarification. This international RBC and ACR 2020, what exactly is this, Vivekji?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
No, in this OECD guideline, they mentioned it international RBC and ACR 2021. What is this international RBC and ACR?
This is actually their clauses. International Responsible Business Conduct is another authority.
Okay.
Basically, it refers to, I think it is either French or Spanish.
Okay.
CR stands for Social Economiche Rad, something like that. It's
Okay.
quite difficult to pronounce as well. So it's a social and economic council of Netherlands, actually.
Okay. Fine. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so Girish ji.
सर अभी हुआ नहीं था.
Okay. Hello. Give me 2 minutes.
भास्कर सर.
हाँ जी. Yes.
SCR.
Yes, go ahead.
India Pakistan Division 1947 1947. The partition of India and Pakistan in 1947 was a deeply traumatic event with far-reaching social consequences that continue to shape the subcontinent today. Mass migration and displacement. One of the largest forced migration in human history occurred with an estimated 12 to 20 million people displaced. Millions of Hindus and Sikhs moved from Pakistan to India, while millions of Muslims moved from India to Pakistan. This mass movement led to immense human suffering, loss of homes, livelihood, and the uprooting of entire communities. Refugees cries overwhelmed, and the newly formed nations with resources to provide basic amenities. Communal violence and loss of life. The partition was evidence and brutal communal violence between Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs. Estimates of the death toll vary significantly, ranging from several hundred thousands to probably over a million people. Violence incurred riots across looting, rape, horrific terror, leaving deep scars on the collective physics of the both nations. The violence created deep-seated trauma, fear, and mistrust between communities that had for centuries. Cultural disruption and loss of shared heritage. The division disrupted cultural ties, traditions, and the lifestyle that were shared across religious alliance. Communities that had lived in close proximity for generations were suddenly separated by a border. Shared cultural practices, languages, and local customs were fractured as people were forced to adopt new nation identities. This led to a sense of loss and cultural disruption for many. Trauma and psychological impact. The violence, displacement, and the loss associated with the partition caused deep psychological trauma for millions. The memories of the event were passed down through generations, contributing to the ongoing tensions and mistrust. Issues of trauma and memory and reconstruction continue to be significant social and political factors in the both countries. आगे सर अभी पिक्स वगैरह नहीं ऐड किया रहने दूं या
मैं समझा नहीं क्या बोलना चाह रहा है।
आगे वाले
नहीं नहीं,
अभी
आप
स्लाइड
चलिए चलिए, इट इज नथिंग, इट्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग सब्जेक्ट, वेरी क्लोज टू माय हार्ट एट लीस्ट।
Yeah, we should know about the past.
या नहीं, आई एम, आवर फैमिली इज वन ऑफ द सफरर। आप गिरीश, इट्स इंटरेस्टिंग, आप चलिए ना।
Oh, is it? Okay, that's nice.
मैम मेरे भी बहुत क्लोजली हर टॉपिक है हम लोग भी वहीं से आए हैं
हाँ हाँ, हम तो वहीं से ही आए हैं, मतलब मेरे पेरेंट्स तो वहीं से आए हैं।
Oh,
हाँ मतलब मेरे तो ग्रैंड पेरेंट थे
हाँ हाँ हाँ, तुम तो यंग हो अभी।
okay, okay. Continue. Actually.
Identity crisis and the formation of new national identity. The partition forced people to define their identities based on religion and nationality. Individuals had to adjust to being citizens of new countries with different values, customs, and often languages. Minority communities in both nations often face challenges in integration and navigating their new national identities, sometimes experiencing discrimination and suspicion. Impact on women. Women were particularly when during the partition, violence, rape, and murder on a large scale. The kidnapping and the forced conversion of women become a tragic feature of the communal conflict. Honor killing were also reported where family members killed women to preserve their family honor from uh, perceived defilement by the other community. The trauma and the social stigma associated with this violence had long-lasting effects on the lives of women and their families. Economic disruption. The partition disrupted trade, industries, and the agriculture, leading to economic instability in the initial years. Migrants often lost their livelihood and the resources during the displacement. The division of assets, infrastructure, and the resources between the two new nations created further economic challenges. Long-term social tension. The partition created a legacy of mistrust and the hostility between India and Pakistan that continues to affect their relationship. Communal tensions and the conflict persist in the various parts of the both countries, often fueled by the historic narratives of the partition. The issue of Kashmir remains a major point of continent contention and the source of ongoing conflict. Impact on social fabric. The social fabric of the continent was torn apart with communities segregated along religious lines in many areas. The sense of shared history and the common identity was weakened, replaced by narratives of separation and conflict. The trauma of displacement and the violence had long-term psychological and social consequences for individuals and communities. Creation of Bangladesh. The eastern wing of Pakistan eventually gained independence on the as Bangladesh in 1971. Further, I think the political map, the religion, and the highlighting the complexities and arising from the partition.
चलिए, good. So I think who has gone through it can speak more about it actually than the
Because
people.
our parents have gone through it. My mother was, I think, 13 to 14 years old when they had got partition. So whatever we have heard through her only.
हम्म,
And father तो I have not seen, so I can't comment. लेकिन मदर ने जो स्टोरी सुनाई थी वो ऐसी ही थी जो गिरीश ने लिखा है. Lot of
ओके
atrocities on the women, displacement, violence. Still, the Punjabi of that area is very different from the Punjabi of Punjab. We are Punjabis actually. तो
हम्म,
हमारी जो पंजाबी है वो जो पंजाब की पंजाबी है उससे बहुत अलग है, और हमारी पाकिस्तान की पंजाबी से हमारी पंजाबी बहुत मिलती है आज भी.
ओ इज इट ओके
हाँ, बहुत मिलती
मैम,
है.
अभी भी अगर आप वहाँ के आपके व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स में अगर वहाँ के वीडियोस आते हो हमारे पास, मैं तो बहुत वहाँ के मतलब लोकल चीजों को विजिट करके देखता हूँ जब से गूगल आया. हम जहाँ से बिलोंग करते हैं वो डेरा इस्माइल खां कुलाची है, मुल्तान
वो
का.
मेरे इन-लॉज का है, डेरा इस्माइल खां है.
हाँ, 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 अच्छा. हम लोग, मैं आज भी वहाँ के बहुत सारे लोकल एरियाज को के बारे में स्टडी करता हूँ, ये चीजें देखता हूँ. हमारा जो भी मतलब लोकल लैंग्वेज था, जो हमारा पहनावा था, जो हमारी बोली थी, जो हमारा फेस्टिवल्स था, जो हमारा खान पान था, और लोकल फेस्टिवल्स या स्वीट्स वगैरह जो भी थे, आज भी वहाँ एज इट इज है. अगर आप जानते हो, एक हमारा मिठाई होता है सोन हलवा, अगर आप जानते हो
सोन हलवा
तो.
होता है, दिल्ली में बहुत मिलता है.
हाँ, हाँ,
क्या होता है वो
वो आपको
सोहन
सिर्फ.
हलवा होता है सर, यहाँ एक होता
सोहन
है
हलवा
कराची हलवा.
तो
कराची हलवा होता है, एक
यस,
होता है
यस,
सोहन
वेरी राइट मैम. आपको वो उसके पास मिलेगा चांदनी चौक में, जो कोने पर बैठा है,
हलवा. कोने में उसमें अलग से दुकान है, सोहन हलवे वाले की स्पेशल दुकान है कराची
यस,
हलवे.
वेरी राइट, यस, यस, वेरी राइट. उसके पास भी सिर्फ एक से दो वैरायटी है, लेकिन उसकी 14 वैरायटीज होती हैं, जो कि पूरे वर्ल्ड में, पाकिस्तान में वहां से एक्सपोर्ट किया जाता है उसका. मतलब हजारों करोड़ में उसका मतलब वहां से मतलब वहां से बिजनेस है उसका, जिसकी
वाह
14 मतलब टेस्ट है.
14 टेस्ट है सोहनवा
हाँ.
सोहनवा
और
का
हमारे इंडिया में जिसको जिसके घर में जैसे सिंधी है, पाकिस्तानी है, जो भी वहां से आए हुए हैं, जिनको जो बनाने आता है वही आता है.
जैसे बालूशाही है, बालूशाही
हाँ
वहां
हाँ
यस,
से.
वेरी
बालूशाही
राइट.
करेक्ट 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 बालूशाही तो सब खाए हैं
गिरीश, तुम्हारा सरनेम क्या है?
मेरा टुटेजा.
तुम पंजाबी हो?
हाँ.
अरे तुम्हारी भाषा तो एकदम यूपी वाली है यार.
मेरा मेरा बर्थ प्लेस बिहार है. मेरे दादाजी लोग थर्टी
अब
टू
मैं
थर्टी
भी बिहार में 10-12 साल रही हूँ, मैं भी बड़ी फर्स्ट क्लास भोजपुरी समझ लेती हूँ, बोलूँ.
बट आपके आपके साउंड में तो बिल्कुल नहीं आती है वो
पर मेरी हिंदी ठीक ठाक है, इसलिए जैसे
अच्छी
आपकी
है
हिंदी
हिंदी
बहुत
बहुत
अच्छी
अच्छी
है. आपकी हिंदी भी बहुत साफ है सर. तो गिरीश की भी हिंदी बहुत साफ है. तो
है
हमारी भाषा में हिंदी ने डोमिनेट कर लिया ना.
ये बात तो करेक्ट है
पंजाबी तो
ये
हमारे
तो अभी
पीछे.
चल रहा है.
हाँ.
सॉरी
अभी ये भाषा के बारे में
आप
तमिलनाडु
तो
से कुछ
चेन्नई
चल
जा
रहा
रहे
है
हो
ना.
सॉरी सॉरी सॉरी, वी शुड स्पीकिंग इन.
ना
भास्कर जी, आई हैव completed Kashi Tamil Sangamam.